So if you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself that this is another one of those Sopa PIPA videos, it's not. Sopa and PIPA have been shelved in their current forms. Lamar Smith, the sponsor of the bill, has said that he's not going to try to push it through. That means it may be back later this year, it may be back next year, but they're scared to try to push something like that through right now. And when it comes back, it'll probably be worded very differently. In fact, it may have nothing to do with piracy at all. My best guess is they'll probably somehow related to the protecting children, because we have to take down foreign rogue websites that harm children. They tried that before. They'll try again. And the reality of it is that's a victory. That's what Internet Blackout Day did. We had a virtually, I think it was like 30 against and now some 100 against. There's a 0% chance that SOPA could pass its current form, all because of Internet Blackout Day. And PIPA, likewise, they're just afraid to even propose that kind of legislation anymore. But the day after Internet Blackout Day, something fascinating happened. A website by the name of Megaupload got taken offline, and the DNS was blocked, so you can't find it. The server farms were attacked. A lot of their property, including their own personal property, were taken into evidence. They've been slapped with charges of racketeering and money laundering and other what may or may not be trumped up charges. I can't say for sure. I'm not in the room. I'm not the Department of Justice. I didn't spend a year building a case against these guys. What I can tell you is that Megaupload, if you're not familiar, what they really may have done, users could upload content. Let's see if this sounds familiar to you. Users could upload copyrighted content and then share it with each other using that file service. And what the only thing Megaupload was guilty of was really hosting that kind of content. Similar to YouTube or Facebook or Tumblr or Imager or all these other websites where you upload your pictures and your videos and you share them. The Department of Justice decided that that counts as a foreign rogue website, and where SOPA and PIPA would have allowed them to just run right in and attack them and pulled them down and pulled them off the internet without having to really do due process or really building a case or really charging them with anything. They instead went the legal route and did the right thing. They built a case. They studied them for years. They gathered evidence, and they treated them the way Americans are supposed to be treated in a court of law. And now they'll get their due process. But it's interesting because this is exactly what SOPA and PIPA were fighting for: the ability to take rogue websites offline and enforce copyright infringement laws and be able to make it a federal crime and things along that lines. So some people said it was unfortunate timing, but I think it's very purposeful timing that they did this the day after Internet Blackout Day. I think this is a message being sent by some people that, SOPA or PIPA or not will find their way to do this anyway. And Frank Zappa, if you're not familiar, that is a musician who did a lot of acid and a lot of weed, and a lot of other God knows what else. But he has a quote that I like to quote occasionally. It says that the illusion of freedom will continue as long as it's profitable to continue the illusion. At the point where the illusion becomes too expensive to maintain, they will just take down the scenery. They'll pull back the curtains. They'll move the tables and chairs out of the way, and you'll see the brick wall at the back of the theater. And that's crazy. I mean, well, let's admit it. The thought is crazy. We are relatively free in America. We are relatively free in the world, and we pretty much do whatever we want, and we fight for that freedom every day. But Frank has a point in that, it really does seem like to me that they want this law to get pushed through. They try to get it pushed through, and if they can't, well, we'll just do it anyway. We'll just do it. You can't stop us from doing that. We're the Department of Justice. Who's going to try us? But again, that's crazy. That's just crazy thoughts. Let's get those crazy thoughts out of our brain. Let's talk about reality. If they can take Megaupload down from the internet, and if they can charge the people who do that, what's to stop them from doing it to the next site? What's to stop them from doing it to Tumblr? It's a little smaller site than the Facebook, YouTube. But then what about Facebook? How many copyrighted images will you see on your feed if you bring up Facebook today? Well, what about YouTube? If you look over in the sidebar over here, I guess it's over here, and you do a video search right now, you're going to find a lot of copyrighted material. And under current American law, it's up to the users. It's the user who broke the law when they upload copyrighted material. But apparently in this case, when it comes to Megaupload, not the case. Not the case. And even if they can't stick you with that, they'll stick you with something. clearly, racketeering. So it's really only a matter of time that the reason you should be watching Megaupload's case so closely and paying so much attention is this sets a precedence. And that's how courts work. If the precedent has been set before, then it gives a judge an excuse or a way. They say, well, that's what they did over there in New England, so that's what it's legal to do, so that's what I'm going to choose to do here. And that way, once this precedent's set, it becomes much easier to rule in that direction for a federal judge or court judge. And what's even more interesting about this is that the people that run Megaupload, 7 of them have been arrested, and they've been hit with that $500 million worth of civil damages. They seized all their physical property, their cars, their homes. They're seized all this stuff to help pay for it. And the $175 million in profit they've made since they launched the website, they want that too. So, and to pay out as damages and to pay for the cost of building the case and all this other stuff. But the reality of it is, like, these people aren't from America. I mean, they're being extradited to America to be tried here. It's completely insane, and it's unheard of, and it's unprecedented, and we can't let this precedent stick. Now, Anonymous has said that this is the first shot fired in a war, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but maybe it is, And Anonymous has chosen to fire back by doing their little DDoS attacks and their denial of service attacks and bringing down the Department of Justice website for a while, MPA, RAA. It's a bunch of script kids running around for the most part right now, and I'm sure there are some people doing some real shit too. I've heard that there may be personal information getting dumped in torrent files and things along that lines. And this is the first virtual war in my lifetime. This is the first war not fought over soil or land. This is intellectual property war, and it's fought in a virtual world. I mean, people are getting arrested in the real world. Their lives are getting ruined in the real world. There will be more anonymous arrests in the real world, and the same for the poor Megaupload guys, and God knows who else in the middle. But, you know, for the most part, this is a virtual war. There'll be no deaths. And it's a war. It's an actual war. That's the words they're using. That's incredible. It's fascinating. So what I want to do today is I want to encourage you guys to keep paying attention to this stuff. Sopa and PIPA are dead. That's great. Let's applaud. Don't go back to sticking your head back up Keisha's ass or your Skrillex tunes. Don't go back to watching fucking, you know, Philly D TV 3 days a week, just like I do. Let's keep paying attention. Let's keep watchdogging, because we've proven that on Internet Blackout Day, we combined our voices, man, and we got something done, and we changed the world. And that's what your generation's capable of. That's what we are capable of. We can change the world. And now that we've cleared our throats, then we need to sing and scream our way to a better tomorrow, because they're listening to us and they're afraid of us. And Thomas Jefferson said that when a people are afraid of their government, that's oppression. But when a government is afraid of their people, that is liberty. That is freedom. Let's prove Frank Zappa wrong. Let's fight. And I hate to use the word fight. I don't want you to fight. I don't want you to punch anybody. I don't want you to get out in the streets and hurt anybody. I don't want you to riot. And I'd never ask you to do that, and that's insane. That's insane. But if you're a young adult in America, you have an opportunity to educate yourself here. You have an opportunity to pay attention. You have an opportunity to listen to what the government is doing. And you have the all-powerful vote. And it doesn't seem very powerful these days, because you have the choice between Democrat and Republican, and they're the same people. Okay, it's the same group of people in charge. It doesn't really matter. Okay, but you can replace every congressman and every senator in your state. You can write them, you can talk to them, you can affect the way they vote, you can affect the way they think, you can make them afraid to be reelected. That is the power of the American vote. That is how the system works. And it doesn't matter if you're in another country. It's how it works in England. It's how it works in the free world. It's how it works everywhere. As far as I know, if you're living in a democracy, then you have a voice, and you got to use it. You got to use it. Because the decisions these dinosaurs, these 60, 70-year-old men are making right now, okay, if you don't keep them in check, these are the decisions that are going to affect you for the rest of your life. You're 18 right now. You're stuck in this world for another 60, 70 years, okay? And the decisions they make today, with your ignorance and your ambivalence behind you, affecting you, and you ignore them, the decisions they make today are going to affect you for every single day for the rest of your life. Get active. Pay attention. Let's do this together. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people, they don't like this political stuff. We're not from America. We don't really care. You know, this affects the whole world, man. Because it's not just one small country anymore. It's the whole world. It's all, ACTA is everywhere. Look up ACTA today on Wikipedia and learn about how this is influencing you. And write representatives to talk to these people. And I'm sorry, and I'm glad that you guys are willing to watch the Francis stuff, and I'm glad that you like to watch me make a fool out of myself, make prank phone calls and play magic cards and stuff like that, play video games. And I'm so glad that you do it. I love sharing that with you. But I love sharing this with you too, because this is my legacy. This is what I hope to leave you guys with. And if I can help some of you guys pay more attention and take better care of yourselves and take better care of the country and the world you live in, then that, man, lets me go to bed happy every night. So thank you for making it to the end of this video if you did. Thank you for paying attention, and thank you for caring. And more importantly, thank you for being active and for helping and do your part on Internet Blackout Day. And I hope you continue to do your part every day from here on out.